Welcome. I'm going to do a walkthrough of Orange. Now, Orange is a codeless data mining application. So, with that said, it allows us to connect to data sources, and we can manipulate the data, we can visualize the data, we can run different machine learning models, and we can run it in unsupervised mode if we want. There's just so many different things that we can do. Now, with that said, over here on the left, we've got what are called widgets, and over on the right, this is our canvas. So when we look at the widgets, we've got different ways to transform the data, whether it's I only want certain columns, certain rows, or I want to change things around, or I want to run some filtering, or I want to select only unique values. Whatever it is that I want to do, if I want to do some pre-processing on the data, that takes place with these transform widgets. I don't have to do any coding to perform those tasks. Now, that's not saying that I can't run some code, and I can absolutely implement a Python script, maybe something custom that I've done, and use it, or something somebody else has done. There's visualization tools to where if I want tree view, box plot, violin plot, distributions, scatter plot, whatever it is that we're doing, however we want to display it, we can use any of these widgets. I can use a variety of different learning models, support vector machine, k-nearest neighbors, constants, trees, linear regression. What is it that we want to do with the data that we have? And then we can go evaluate it. We can do a train test split, or Orange's equivalent of a train test split test score, and find out these test scores. I can, what scores do I think are important? Is it the mean square, RMSE? What is it that I'm looking at? I can do different predictions, confusion matrix, to where I look at the relationships between the different things. So with that said, let's go play with these widgets, and we'll go through them one at a time and play with the different widgets to see what do they do. So let's look at data, and we've got different types of data that we can pull in. I can connect to a CSV file, or I can just say, you know what, I got a file. And if I say, I just have a file, I'm being very implicit about it, very assumptive that the system's going to know what I'm talking about. But if I bring this file over, and I have dropped that widget here, now let me double click on it. So what kind of options do I have? It says, hey, if you want to, you can go use a CSV. I can pull data from a URL, or I can pull data from a file that I have. What data type? Well, it's up to the system. It'll take a variety of different data types. Now I'm going to go ahead and use this housing table, and it's the Boston housing statistics that are commonly used. I could use an iris. Got the iris data, sepal width, sepal length. But you know what? We're going to go play initially. Let's go play with this housing data. So with that housing data, one of the things I want to make sure of first, and it's kind of before we ever do pre-processing, if we were going to do it, is look at the columns and see what's going on. When I look at it, I see here's different things that are going on, different features, what data is in there, it's numeric, and the name for that data. So you know what, I like that, and I'm going to go ahead and use it, and I'm going to click on that dashed line that was to the right of that widget that I dropped, drag it over and drop, and I'm going to see a data table. I want to see a data table based on that data source. And this data table that it shows me, not only is it showing me the index, or the primary key for this data set, if you will, but it's also showing me each one of the features and the values in there. And I can show how I want to see them, visualize the numeric values. Visualize them? Yeah. Put a little line in there so I can see which is, how does this data compare to the other data? Is it a large number, a small number, based on the bar at the bottom? Well, that's an option. That's something I can see to help me visualize the data. And as for each one of the features, I can see that right here. If I wanted to, I can go scroll down through this. Well, it's not as pretty as I'd like. So let's go look at something different. You know what? Instead of the table, I want to see something prettier. And the prettier thing I want to see is, I want to see some statistics. I want to see statistics associated with those features that exist in that table. And we saw the table. See, there's each one of the features. Let's come look at the feature statistics. And when I look at feature statistics, I can see each one of them. What's the mean for crime? The median? Dispersion? Min, max? Missing? Are there any missing values? Well, that's important to know. And I didn't have to write any code to find that. I can go check and see relative to the color. What color do we want to play with? It's just changing, just playing around with the different ones. And it's a personal preference when it comes to color, what you want it to look like. So with that said, I'm picking different targets, and based on that target, what do we see over here? So we'll go ahead and we'll pull those features. We'll leave that. And let's go look at some other things. I'll go drop another widget on here. And this next widget, I'll put an impute widget. I want the average or most frequent value. That's what I want to see. I want to see the average or most frequent value. So with that said, what are we going to do? Let's go look at, you know what? Let's look at feature statistics again. Here's our averages for those. Well, I need to do a little bit more than that. I don't want just that. I want to have this thing do a little bit of machine learning for me. And what I wanted to do is I want to go do some data sampling. So what kind of sample do you want? What sample size do you want? You know what? I want to do an 80-20 split. So here's going to be an 80-20 split of this data set. And I can slide this to change whatever I want it to be. You know, the traditional is going to be 70 to 90, somewhere in there. So that I've got a training set and a test set. So with this set, I've got an 80% of the data will be used for training and 20% for testing. We're going to run cross-validation, 10 subsets. That's what we want to do on this. So you know what? I want to go ahead and I want to do this fixed proportion. That's what I want to do for this. I want to do an 80-20 split. I'm not going to sample the data yet because I don't have anywhere for it to go and no little relationships set up for what I want it to do. Now, if I'm going to sample this, if I was thinking about, let's do a little machine learning and play with it. We've got a data set. Let's go sample it. And we're going to sample it and run traditionally some kind of model. Well, what kind of model do we want to run? Let's see. Let's go run a model that's a random forest model. And look at it. Number of trees in there. However I want to set this up. If I want to set specific values, I can do that. So we want to create a random forest, and I also want to have some kind of scoring associated with that model. Oh, wait a minute. What's it done? It says I've got some information here. And essentially what it's done is that it's taken my sample, run it through a random forest model, it's taken something and run it over to the random forest model, and this thing is doing some training and testing for me. Let's go see what it's got for me. And at this point, I haven't run any code. I haven't done anything other than pick a feature or run some statistics, looked at some statistical data based on something that it showed me over here, feature statistics. But now I ran a specific model, random forest, based off of that data, and I said, what statistics can you give me about it? Boom, here you go. Here's statistics associated with whatever I told it I wanted to deal with. Mean square error, RMSE, MAE, R2, whatever it may be. So I can go come up with these things and, what if I don't want to run random forest? I'm going to get rid of that random forest. I'll come over here and, you know what, I want to do some linear regression. So will it do that for me? Wow, I ended up, if I ran linear regression, I got that. Oh, wait a minute. What if can I go run more than one off of it? Say random forest, and drop that in. Will it show me both of them? Oh, wait a minute, I can start comparing models now. And I'm not limited to just one. So let's see, what if we come this way? Drop that up. Let's see if I got another model. What other models do we want? Let's see, do we want to do gradient boosting? That's linear regression. Let's do logistic regression here. Oh, you need somewhere to go. It didn't like that one. What did it not like about that one? It's not telling me what the problem was. Go ahead and pull that. Let's see, what else can we run off of this? Well, can we do gradient boosting? Took a little longer, but it did it. Let's come over, we'll do another one. We've got so many that we can run. We're just playing with it to see what can we do. Support vector machine. Let's do that. Ran a whole lot faster than the last one. Now let's see, of those models, what we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4 models. I've got data for 4 models. Depending on what's important, I want a low R2, high MSE. What do I want? And the numbers are here. We can go decide which model works for us. Are we limited to those? Can we drop another model on here? Let's see. What have we not done yet? We can always just play. High bays? Oh, nope. It says no. That one's kind of hung me up. That one has hung me up. And it says, oh, it threw me an error. It told me what the problem was. When I go open this up now, it's comparing them by different values. Compare them by mean square error, root mean square error, and what they ended up as. So there's so many things that I can do, and I didn't have to write any code. Visualizing data, doing data mining, using Orange. So it's a cool tool, but it does have its limitations. And you know, it's whatever we want to do relative to our little whim that we're under. You know, hey, let's go play with this. And what was I going to do? I was going to do a neural network. Will it let me? Yeah. And oh, it's running. Now let's see what we got. We've got more data. Okay. Support vector. It's looking good, isn't it? Okay. Well, if I do another video for another assignment, then I'll see you in the next video.